Producing Coronation Street is kind of the biggest job I'll ever do. It's madness at times. It's several things. It's the biggest honour I could ever have. I mean, it is the country's biggest show and has been for 52 years, so it's a huge, huge responsibility, and not one I take lightly. But I still pinch myself every time I'm out on the street, every time I kind of come into the set at the studios. It's not that I can't believe it, it's just I'm so grateful. It's a massive, massive undertaking though. The biggest challenge producing this show is the storytelling. We're on five episodes a week. We absolutely burn up story and you've got to keep it fresh. You know, there may be only so many ways you can tell a love story, but you've got to constantly come up with new angles. It's just the sheer volume that we produce. Since I've been producing, I went through a round of about 6-7 interviews. It was really hardcore. But the thing it always boiled down to me was getting back to basics. Tony Warren, 50 odd years ago, created a show about the lives and loves of northern working class people. That's it, simple, back of a fag packet, and that's what I wanted to do. Obviously things have changed, the scale of some of the stuff we do has to be bigger because the audience expects it. But fundamentally, it's about a working class community in Manchester. In Bradford, I was lucky enough to become the fellow in theatre. Essentially, it's theatre manager, producer of Theatre in the Mill, and it's probably remains one of the best venues in West Yorkshire, and it's a venue that's recognised throughout the country as being one of the best places for new theatre. So it was running it as a professional theatre venue, but also liaising and linking up with students from every kind of faculty who had an interest in drama, and they put on some magnificent shows, and a lot of talent came out of that. It was a really exciting time and a place to be. It was the biggest managerial role I'd had. So there were two things. It kind of focused my head in terms of how do you manage large groups of people. You know, at times you could be working with upwards of 100 people. So that was a real learning curve for me. Creatively though, it just opened my eyes to the wealth of talent, and I think I've taken that on wherever I've gone. Look in unexpected places and you might find talent you'd otherwise miss. I think Coronation Street is an institution, but every producer kind of brings something new. I think for me, what I loved doing at Theatre in the Mill, one of the first plays I did there, I wrote there, was called A Family Affair, and it was about a family whose son was recovering from heroin addiction. A kind of story that hadn't been told. And that was one of my proudest times. It mattered. It mattered to a lot of people. And I kind of brought, without being poncy or politically correct, I try and find the space and the room at Corrie to tell those bigger stories that really do matter, whether it's the cancer story or most lately Steve and male depression. Try to tell stories that matter. I did it there and I'm trying to do it here.